Hi, Judy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, everybody.
Hey. And we're glad to hear your voice, because we know that last week or the week before was not the best for you, so glad you're okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a good night. We're okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so I think we
Hope
can
you're
call this.
Fading in and out here, though.
Oh, I'm fading in and out?
Hello?
How about now? Can you hear us?
Yep, I gotcha.
Oh, okay,
Oh, we can see you now.
yeah. Okay, so we can call the meeting to order. It's 7:02 p.m. We can do call to order. Christina Davis, I'm present. Pam Summers,
Here.
Paul Varga,
Here,
Keith Lipker,
here.
Judy Austin,
Here.
Angie DeSanto is not present. And then our alternates, Tim Rhodes, not present. Holly Love, not present, and Humans, not present. But we do have a quorum. And we don't need to seat any alternates. We don't have any, so. For communications, I did receive, at 5 o'clock today, a select women's update, which I'll share under that agenda item. And, Catherine did say she is not attending tonight's meeting due to a scheduling conflict. Other communications, we received the Board of Education budget estimate, which they will be going over with us next week on February 20th. So I forwarded the budget to the board members. Let me, while I'm thinking of it, I should send it to Catherine and Sherry as well. That real quick. Send it to Chris out of that too. So, the routine with this, according to our budget calendar, is that we are supposed to get them questions by Monday night. So that we can, so that they can respond to them and have like intelligent answers to questions, as opposed to like us putting them on the spot on Thursday, so they can prepare a little bit, which is what we did last year and the year before. And it seemed to work out quite well. So what I would just ask, and I'll send this in an email as well tomorrow, just to remind everybody, if you could get me your questions by Monday at 5. And then I can compile everything and get it to Cindy and the team at the school, you know, by 8 o'clock on Monday night. And I do have some printed copies of their budget, but I also emailed it. A few of these have to go to town hall. So I like to have copies there. But does anybody in this room want a print copy?
I'd like one.
I would like one too. I'll pick it up at your house, Christina, or
You know what, Judy, honestly, it'd be easier if I could just drop it in your mailbox on the way home tonight.
that'd be
If that's
awesome.
Yeah. Another one?
Thank you.
I don't need them.
Oh.
Okay, I'll just do them.
All right, so we got enough to put in the town hall. So that's good. So that's that, and they were kind enough to get this to us a little early. They technically weren't supposed to have it ready until tomorrow, so they got it to us a little early, which is nice. So let's see. I don't think I have anything else for communications. So the next item is approved minutes for the special meeting of January 30th, 2025. Would anybody like to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
Pam made the motion. Would anybody like to second it?
I'll second the motion.
Are there any edits to the minutes? I do have one, which was requested by the first select woman. So we will amend the minutes to include her email communication to me, which was on January 30th. So we'll put that on the minutes for this meeting so that there's documentation of that communication. Any other edits for those minutes? Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Aye. Any opposed?
I abstained because I wasn't here.
Keith
I
is abstained,
abstain too.
and Jay, okay, and Judy abstains, okay. All right, that's that. Next item is public comment. Would anybody like to make a public comment? Okay. And next we have select women's update, with Catherine not being here. I'll just read it. It's short. And I did forward this to you, Kayla, so you can put it in the minutes as well. Okay. Okay, well, this first item is a little long. I'll talk
Yeah,
about-
honestly, I don't think you need, I mean, just me,
Okay,
you don't need to read it, you send it.
I didn't, I just email it to
Read
everybody.
the top paragraph.
Okay,
call it.
so Pompey Hollow Senior Housing Small Cities Grant. The town of Ashford has been awarded $2 million for upgrades to Pompey Hollow Senior Housing located in Pompey Hollow Park. The housing facility is 32-unit low and moderate income housing complex. So there's more detail if you want to read up on that. Propane for town buildings, propane for all town-owned buildings, including the senior center, will be supplied by HOCON Gas, which has been awarded the state bid. HOCON's current rate is $1.79 per gallon. Note the senior center underground propane tank is owned by the town, is over 30 years old, and will likely need to be replaced in the near future. Well, that sounds like fun. Next item is 25-26 general government budget. The board of selectmen are continuing their review, refinement of proposed general government budget requests. And then 25-26 capital improvement projects. The next committee meeting for the week of February 17th, depending on the availability of community members. So that's the select women's update. Next item, I just put this on here just to have like a general conversation about the 25-26 budget. So again, just returning back to the Board of Ed budget that we have here. So if the bottom line, if you go all the way to the last page, is they're asking for a 5.46% increase, which is what I had noted at our last meeting. It hasn't changed. One thing to look at, when you look at this document as well as the town budget, the general government budget, is that the actual column. So we have fiscal year 23-24 actuals. So what actually got spent versus what was in the budget. And then what's being proposed. So I know when I go through budgets, I'm looking at actuals and then, how's that compared to what was budgeted? And those are probably areas where we might have questions, so. I don't think there is anything else particularly on this one. Doesn't look like they changed the formatting at all. So it's easy to compare year over year if you wanted to look at last year's budget, and that stuff is on the website. If you can't find it and you want to see last year's budget, just let me know and I can get it to you electronically. If you don't have the copies from last year. So that's the Board of Ed. And then, let me just look at the calendar and go over the dates real quick. So, tomorrow, we are supposed to get the Region 19 budget. So by next week, at our February 20th meeting, I'll be able to share that officially what that number is. We know that it is going to be up because our share of students is going up this year. It's just a question of how much it's going to go up. The other piece of the budget and figuring out the mill rate that we don't have yet is the grand list. And I did ask the assessor for an update and she said that she doesn't think she's gonna have that for us until the end of the month. Typically, it's done by the end of January, but there's apparently been some extenuating circumstances this year she's had to have an extension. So as soon as we get that number, we can kind of plug it into our calculations. If the grand list goes up, that's really helpful. It helps mitigate the impact budgets going up, but if the grand list stays flat or stays down or goes down, that can make increases that much more difficult to deal with. So it's kind of important that we get that grand list number. We have, like I said, if everyone can get their questions to me on the Board of Ed budget by Monday at 5 p.m. And then the school board will be here to present on February 20th. And then we'll get the general government budget on Friday, February 28th. And then that will be presented formally on March 6th. So this is crunch time where we're gonna be looking at a lot of numbers, so. Oh, state aid. Did I send an email to everybody with that? Or did I just send it
About-
to?
With
The
what?
governor's.
What the governor's budget has? Did I send it
No,
to everybody?
I thought you did.
Yeah, no, I probably did. I just, I just want to make sure. Let me look that number up again, though. I think it was a snow day. Here it is, governor's budget. Yeah. So. Actually, I have a better, hold on. I was able to find a breakdown of the state funding. State funding, here we go. Because what I shared in my email was an article from Connecticut Mirror that just sort of looked at the big number. But I was able to find in the actual documentation that the governor's office puts together the actual breakdown on everything. So our funding for fiscal year 25-26 there's several categories. So the first one is pilot. So that's payment in lieu of taxes, the money that we get from the state for state-owned property, things like state forests, et cetera. That is projected to go up slightly by $546. So not going down, but not going up. The motor vehicle tax reimbursement. So that's money that we get reimbursed for that because we have the motor vehicle tax cap. The state does reimburse us for that gap. And that is fully funded and is going up by $59,805. So that's good. Supplemental revenue sharing grant is projected to be flat. Mashantucket, Pequot, and Mohegan Fund grant is projected to be flat. Town Aid Road, flat. LoCIP, flat. Municipal grants and aid, flat. And then education cost sharing, and this is where we take a hit. It's a 3.2% decrease, $110,508. So we received for the existing fiscal year, or we were supposed to receive $3,932,351. And then in this new budget, we're projected to receive $3,882,194. So that's a 1% decrease. A difference, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, a 3% decrease, a difference of 110,000. So that's pretty significant. Because typically we're usually squabbling over tens of thousands of dollars. And so if our state aid for education is coming down by 100,000, that's not great. And that's also why that grand list number is important, because if that grand list is maybe by some miracle going up by 200,000, that might help mitigate that number. But anyway, I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, and we will get more specific numbers on the state aid when we get the general government budget. That's all in the general government budget because it's considered the revenue, but except, yeah. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that's what we're looking at. And then, of course, these numbers can change. Because it's, the governor's budget is not the final thing. The state reps and the state senators, and they have to get together and come to some agreement. But I don't know that they're even gonna be finalized before we have to send this to referendum. That's the other thing. There's always a little bit of uncertainty depending on how the budget goes. And, oh yeah, there's this whole thing happening in Washington DC where they might just stop funding things federally, so that, I don't know what that's gonna do. So we'll see. And I think that's a question I wanna ask of the school is, I'm not really clear on, what they see any impacts potentially
Yeah,
being.
it
that.
won't have an impact on that.
Well, I hope you are correct, Paul. So those are all the state numbers. And we talked about the schedule. So yeah, any questions, comments, concerns about the budget as we head into our marathon meetings?
Yeah, probably concerns, but
I think it's
Till
going
we
to
know
be
more.
a much tighter year than it has in the past. So I think we're going to have to be ready to make potentially difficult decisions and be able to defend those decisions for the community so that they can get behind whatever goes to referendum. Any other comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay. Judy, were you gonna say something? No,
No, I'm good.
okay, thanks.
At least for now, until I see it.
Okay. Next item is discussion and possible action to revise the proposed 25-26 Board of Finance budget to include a Zoom license. I'm going to suggest that we table this again because I have not heard anything back from the Board of Selectmen on this topic. So I just don't want to make any decisions until we hear back from them.
Sounds good to me.
yeah,
Agenda items for the next meeting is, the number one item is the Board of Education. We're gonna have them here to present their budget and answer our questions. And yeah, I would just really encourage everybody to take some time over the weekend and go through this document and email me your questions. Even if it's just one or two, just, anything, different perspectives, different, I think if it's just one or two people that are sending questions and we kind of have a certain way of looking at things, that's not necessarily as helpful, right? We're all here for a reason, and if we could all share our perspective, I think that makes us stronger, makes the budget process more valuable and, better reflective of the overall community, so. I guess that was kind of my remarks for the good of the board. Other than that, I think we're done. This could be a short meeting.
wow,
Anybody like to make an, did I forget anything? I didn't skip anything this time, right? We approved the minutes?
Yes.
yeah, we
Okay.
did.
All right. Anybody like to make the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
And Pam seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Judy, I'm just gonna text you so you can remind me what your address is and I'll drop off the print copy for
Okay.
you. All right, thank
All
you.
right.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Night, Judy.
Bye.